I decided to show some of my Tron related concept bikes. Most of these I thought of back in 2010 when the new Tron movie came out. Um, while I'm a big fan of Sid Mead and Daniel Simon, the look of that entire movie, especially the bikes, was going to be the bikes that they always chose. Ever since the hubless design, like this, came out in the early 80s. The first I saw the hubless bikes, hubless wheel motorcycles, was on the show Beyond 2000. They showed a white sort of crotch rocket with hubless wheels. And after that, I saw a couple of like choppers and stuff with the hubless wheels. So ever since that design came out, those were always going to be the style of bike that they chose for the movie. They also wanted to get away from this enclosed design because they wanted to have a little more danger and swashbuckling kind of fighting going on, a little more action, you know. So that's why they went with the ride-on bikes instead. Now, where I started with my line of thinking was I really liked that one of the bikes that they had for Kevin Flynn's bike. I believe it's Kevin Flynn. I forgot the guy's name. But anyways, the kind of enclosed bike with the hub in the back. But me, I kind of went with something a little more kind of more techno looking, I guess you'd call it. Here's a kind of some offshoots of it. I did a whole bunch of variations on this sort of design here. Like I integrated the foot peg there, a little integrated exhaust pipe. Kind of like this floating hub idea. That's kind of neat. And if you want to go with the good guys in blue, bad guys in red, kind of like almost a Darth Vader version of a Tron bike there. I like that. And I really like the way that the red kind of cuts into the gray kind of steel look there. Now, besides the enclosed ones like this pod one, I decided to do some that were kind of more where the rider was integrated into the bike. You can see how here where this rider here just looks more like a robot kind of integrated into the bike. I like that idea, but the movie wasn't going to go in that direction. I like old school bikes, like the old Indians and stuff like that. This particular bike here had these kind of like where there's like a kind of like a laser beam that comes on the front and back. And what happens is in the movie they had a solar sailor that kind of floated along a laser beam. And I was like, it'd be really cool if the bikes could do that same thing, where they could, once the road stops, they kind of could leave the go off the edge of a cliff and still keep going on these beams of light. And then I got some kind of Art Deco-y versions here, like that. I kind of like this. I kind of like this kind of chunky sort of relief kind of cutout. So you'll see a lot of that in the designs. Some of this kind of looks like it could be like a stamped metal, like that. Now I took the design in a few different directions. So I'm gonna show you some other stuff here. At the time I was living with a girlfriend who had a kid who loved Ben 10, so I decided to make this Ben 10 kind of Tron bike here. I really like that. Actually, out of the bikes that I did, I think that one came out really well. That'd be something I could see almost being used in the TV show. I like this idea here where the light kind of ends up forming the bike. I could see this animated. This could look really good. On paper, it just doesn't look that great, but it's kind of a neat design. Another one where the driver's integrated into the bike, like that. Now, like I said, I like the bikes like the old Indian bikes and the old Harleys and stuff like that. So here's some variations on those. See that little laser beam thing. This time it just passes through the wheel into the little hub. And one of my other videos, I accidentally called the V-twin a V8, so my bad. Apologies for that, folks. There. I integrated some tail lights there and a muffler there. That red bike came out really nice. I like that. Let's see what else I got here. I got a board track racer back here, hiding in the back. Got a little techno design. The hard part about doing this kind of board racer bike that I was doing here, because the handlebars and this where they're positioned above these two forks, this kind of twin forks there, made it kind of look almost like it was a monster with big teeth car, you know. And so I kind of had to definitely watch what I was doing with my lines there to make it not look too cartoony. And it was kind of going for a nice sci-fi look, and I think that came out really well. The character came out really nice next to it to show the proportions of that. Now, along with the kind of Art Deco type bikes and stuff like this, and with the chunky wheels and the cutout reliefs, I decided, you know what, it'd be really neat to make a tank version of a bike, right? So then I came up with these here. You can still see the kind of laser beam thing kind of going into the hub there. Same thing there on the back of that one. And then on the front they have an opening for the where it would meet the oncoming beam. So anyways, this thing here on the top here, like that is a turret. On each of the side of that there is a gun, and this particular thing would flip over horizontally like that, and then the guns could turn around and face you like that. That was kind of an interesting idea. I ran with that a little bit. And decided to go with some real Art Deco-y kind of oddball stuff here. My girlfriend says this one looks a little bit like a coffin. Yeah, man, I can see where she's going with that. But I like the idea of using glass, just because the way that light kind of diffuses through it like that. I think they could have done a little bit more with that actually in the movie. Some of the buildings and stuff that was in the new Tron movie, I think they could have shown a little bit more of the background stuff, because I think some of the really great artwork gets kind of passed over in movies like that, where the background stuff's really good. It's just that the action's moving so fast you only get a half a second glimpse to see it. As that Trika showed in my other video here. And this is another one my girlfriend says look like a coffin. I just kind of like this wedge kind of look here. Mostly the thing I was focusing on design-wise was this kind of glass-looking wheel here in the back. That's meant to have like those grooves. You can see here in the top here how it's just kind of like grooves. And the internal is supposed to be glass, and now it says black. I think some concepts like this would have looked really nice in the movie, but I think they would have been going in the wrong direction. But I still like them. So let's I don't think I have anything on the other side of this Tron-wise. I think the rest of it's just the trikes. Okay. So let's keep going back here. Past the board track racer, some empty pages there. That's where all that stuff goes. And go with we already saw these. Okay, then here's some more of the ride-in style there. I was kind of going with some energy wheel designs there, like the free-floating kind of hub with the shock there. I guess it's not too free-floating, just more of an energy wheel. There's some more of the cutout-y stuff. I like this idea, this kind of style, but on paper it doesn't come out very well. I think that, if some more of this stuff was computer animated, it would really pop. But a lot of these pictures that I was doing was more about me also experimenting with markers to see if I could get a metallic look out of using markers and pens and colored pencils. Most of this stuff when I was drawing it was meant to be photocopied onto glossy paper, because a lot of times the old Xerox machines, whenever you did anything, whenever you photocopied anything onto glossy, it would automatically make it look plastic or metal, which is what the movie was going for, that hard plastic metal feel, you know. And I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can get that done with magic markers and color pencils. I also like these kind of integrated designs like this, where the whole thing looks more like fluid, or kind of sweepy kind of looks. I don't know if it was Daniel Simon who did all the Tron stuff, or all the Tron bikes, but one of them actually did a bike that was slightly similar to this, where you can see, actually, this is a more real kind of deviation for they're doing. It's only about like maybe like 5% towards what they were doing. They were really going for these kind of fat wheel designs like that, and see what they could do with those. But that's a bike that I really liked right there. I really like this idea of these, but I just think this bike came out better looking. Okay, so moving on. So, like I said, I still like the fluid teardrop look. Like a bike like this, when I envisioned it kind of the rider would walk up to like a platform, and the bike would kind of rise up out of like a liquid and form the bike. So these kind of liquid designs, and all the art here was mostly just done with ballpoint pens and magic markers. So I wonder if I got one of these that's actually glossy. Like here's one that you probably can't see it, but I was going to try to see if the glossy translates into something you can see. And you can see how that kind of like going away from you, that thing would just look pretty cool on done in CG like that, just like that. So let's put that away. If it would go back to the case, there, sleep there. And I kind of like this integrated design. There's a bike that I showed the other day. It was kind of shaped almost like a blade, almost looked like it had scales and stuff like that. That particular bike was designed. Let's see if I have it here. Yeah, this one here. This one. I was trying to see if I could go with something that was also like the motorcycle that was in the like the Terminator movie. They had like one motorcycle that was a Terminator motorcycle, and I was like, you know what? Let's see if I can combine that with like something that's might be Tron sort of style, but I don't think I hit either of them. But you know, that's where this design came from, where you have these cutout things that look kind of like scales, and I thought it looked kind of more like a shark originally. Originally, this bike wasn't going to be a black bike. It was going to be like an all-red bike, and there was going to be a lot fewer plates than this. So it actually did look more like a shark. Maybe I'll eventually get around to drawing that, but I doubt it. I'm kind of getting away from doing some of this. The stuff that was all here in this was kind of me scraping the bottom of the barrel for my ideas. But they still kind of pop up into my head. Every time I look at the portfolios, like if I look at too many of my pictures in a row, my mind just starts trying to blend it all together, and I come up with like a million ideas in the middle of the night, and I can't sleep until I sit down and draw. I kind of got away from doing a lot of artwork because I would obsess about this stuff for days and days. You know, just trying to come up with as many variations as I can. See, I like this kind of like, it's like lightning, like that. This one's kind of cheesy looking. I was going for a neon look, a neon light look, like, you know, sweeping neon lights. It's interesting. It's, you know, I don't think I would ever use that in a movie, but it's interesting. Another one I liked was, here's like me trying too hard to do the similar things as these, but I just wanted to see if I can make the outside a little more like glass, almost like a flowing glass or flowing energy around a rider. So it still has a ball wheel instead of the hubless style. So I went from originally from doing these kind of like I guess you'd say like the round hubs, the rounded wheel like this, and sort of these kind of flat kind of wheels that are flat on either side, to this kind of cylinder shaped wheel. And then a lot of this were I wanted to make a ball wheel, like a complete ball. And I got a little exaggerated with making a ball. This kind of just looks like a guy playing more like basketball. But it was an interesting idea. I think that, combine these two, maybe have something, uh, play around with it. That could work a little bit. I still would have, instead of doing a solid ball like that, I would have definitely made some kind of rings around it, or maybe like something like a tread, something that made it more like a wheel other than just a ball. But I like the picture, Let's see what we got here. Here's some. So these are all kind of like moving along the ball wheel theme, like that little energy kind of pod thing there. See that on that other bike, I would have gone with a wheel that's more like this. This bike came after the other one you just saw on the other side. Nice kind of glass cockpit there. Just a little bit of detail there. Like that. This one I really liked. It was just like out of the blue. It's like, if I'm gonna make them a ball, might as well make them like an energy ball, like something that glows. And that kind of like bike there came out. I really like that one. This one here was me again, kind of, scraping the bottom of the barrel for ideas, but I just wanted to go with something that looked more techy, show off some kind of artwork that could be used in. Most of these bikes were specifically designed to where they would show off a design language that could be used to base the entire movie's look on. So, you could picture one movie being a little bit more like this, and like people are like, oh, that's too busy. In my mind, looks cool, it'd be a really cool spaceship, a really cool like tank or robot or something like that. And you could picture doing like a whole video game off of some of these designs like that. Other ones, a little bit less. Like this, you couldn't base a whole movie off of this look. That'd be a little hard. Not impossible, but a little hard. Maybe do some spaceships and stuff like that. That could be interesting. Let's move on here. And I kind of got with this. I also like the cylinder design with these kind of cone-shaped cutouts like this, almost like a skateboard wheel. Kind of played around with that idea. I actually kind of really liked that theme. Ever since I've seen the old skateboard wheels and old Duncan butterfly yo-yos. I just kind of like that butterfly design because it has that nice recess in it like that, and then you can kind of cut into it and show the lights at different depths. Like that. Let's move along here. I'm gonna take out one of these pictures here. This one here was me kind of more playing along this idea here, but it really did not come out like good looking at all. Look, it's a fish. Yeah, but I still keep it just because you never know when different inspiration might pop up and you're like, oh yeah, I could see combining that. Playing around with it. Anyways, here's some more like a board track racer and almost a steampunk board track racer kind of thing going on there. Like a vintage like motorcycle, kind of like the stacks coming out of the top like that. The air intakes. And when I was a kid, I used to always love dragsters and race cars with the pipes on the side like that. It's like, fuck it, throw it on a bike. It looks cool. I mean, it's probably the only way you can make a bike like that look cool with those, Because you're going from a V-twin to something that'd be like for a V8. Maybe it has one tucked inside of it, You never know. And a little artsy kind of look there. A little flame look. This one over here that I took out, this one was supposed to be something actually a little bit more like Sid Mead would actually draw. Like if he was going to play around with it, this would be the one that he would design, versus stuff that Daniel Simon does. Only as it equates to his more he did a lot of like large vehicles, like stuff, like rovers and stuff like that. They would kind of fit into that world, into that theme, if that's where he was going. And this kind of was whenever I was doing all those Art Deco ones that you saw in the back, like the one that my girlfriend said looked like a coffin. Let's put that over there. Okay, now we're getting back in here. There's like, see here, like I kind of like this, like I said, the cylinder wheel with the angle cut out on the inside, the conical cutout. It's kind of very almost Hot Wheels, you know. I kind of like this idea here. I think this kind of like sweep idea like that, where it's kind of almost like modular, different little modules all attached to each other. I think that could be really nice for like a large size tank, or like a base tank, you know. Anyways, here's some other kind of variations I did there. Most of these are all going to be the wider wheel, kind of like in that little thumbnail there, like that. And I also like this kind of cut out there in the back, where it has a flat back to the back of the cockpit, and then a little something going on above it that connects it to the wheels, almost like a skateboard. This one here is just kind of just something to throw together. Just, I liked this idea here, that kind of with those. It's kind of like that, and I'm like, oh fuck it, throw it together, see if it works. And just scratch built that thing, just kind of neat. Anyways, these are again kind of just moving along the same line, seeing if I can make the that kind of jet engine, electric engine combo thing kind of work. I think they tried it originally in like the movie, or like in their artwork, but it was never going to translate well, and I get why. It's hard to fit it in and still make it wow, you know, like, oh wow, that's pretty cool, little jet engine looking thing going on in there. Maybe it takes away from the eye when the rider's sitting on it, but it's kind of hard to integrate it and make it look cool, because your eye always wants to, when you have the two wheels like this, your eye kind of wants to make like a straight line in between, or some kind of like curved line, or this kind of S-shaped line, or like a super downward angle line. So a lot of times you'll see me just playing with different angles, like real sharp angles, like these almost 35, 40 degree angles here like that, to more gradual lines that pass into the bike. When I said that the round wheel with the cone cut out kind of wouldn't, I liked it. One of the reasons why I liked it is because it kind of really was neat for like this tank thing. So this in 3D would look really good with the recessed door being in the kind of like you'd walk through the or pass through the tread of the tank. Now this one was drawn without a turret, so it's just more of a car. But with a turret, this thing would look kind of neat too. And there's kind of a more of a like Darth Vader-y looking version of a thing. This one just had the two kind of supports going into the back wheel, and then these would be vents that went all the way around that support. Just because I like the red glow on the body, you know. That kind of came out neat. Here's some other stuff here. Just wanted to go with some like fat body crotch rockets, kind of like more like a Hayabusa, you know. So I got some of those kind of going on, like that there. I like these kind of little blade looking designs here. I don't think they quite work right there. You know, that could be, I would think I would like the ones here in the middle like this. I think I might redesign that and make that a little bit bigger. But I would lose the taper. What I don't necessarily like is the way this rolls right here, because it makes the wheel look skinny like that. But there's not a whole lot you can do with once you have committed to these open wheels like this. There's not a whole lot you can do with making the body fatter in any way, or it's real hard to blend that in like that. You know, it kind of leans itself towards making the fat bike, little fat boy style. That's why they went with that in the movie. Anyways, there's some me playing around. I like recumbent bikes, so I just make a whole bunch of little recumbent sort of style seating, and they give this nice kind of fluid look, like that. Some of these look really good when they're kind of like me when I'm always drawing. I always like watching the vehicles like people will see me hold the picture up to my face kind of at a weird angle, and what I'll do is like I kind of like stretch it out like this, so you can get that long kind of like boom like that, like it's real sweepy kind of like that, you know. And I'll get in on it and get a nice fisheye lens like that. I'm holding it up to my face because I'm picturing the thing moving right in front of you, bam, like that. And all these bikes are kind of I like this. A lot of my people like my artwork. They like this shotgun built in to where the handlebars go. That was really clever. Let's see, like the cutouts and these things. You can see these bikes. Like I said, they were done about 10 years ago, and you can see how much a bike like that influences my recent stuff, like bikes like these two. You know, so you can see the nice angles passing through each other like that. The object is whenever you're doing these not to make them look like they're a complete X, because that just draws your eye in too much. The object is to stretch out the picture slightly. Let's see what else I got going on back here. Me still playing around with some of these ideas. I like that long. The glare here on this thing. So anyways, like I said, I like jet engines, so I like to incorporate them in a lot of stuff. I also like jet air intakes of different styles. You know, like I always love the drag racers with the big hood scoops and stuff on the front, and the old Formula Ones where they used to have this huge air intake right behind the guy's head. Right, you know, I love that stuff. And I like jets. I grew up when I was a kid. My dad used to not let us look at comic books. He hated comic books. He was a religious guy and was a real Bible thumper. Hated stuff like that. Hated us watching cartoons and stuff like that. So the only things that he would allow us in the house as far as books wise goes was a picture encyclopedia and the Bible. And occasionally National Geographic, because that was real, not like the cartoon stuff. So when it came down to the picture encyclopedias, what's the first one you pick up is A, armory, auto, airplanes. You know, you kind of got anatomy. You're getting into all of it right there, right with the very first picture encyclopedia. I actually kind of love having it. I thought that was, you know, interesting. Oh, that little board track racer I was telling you about, where I was trying to avoid making it look like an animal. Like I kind of completely failed with this. It just looks a little too much like a snake, you know. So this is a bike that I really like the shape. I kind of like these blade designs of the hubs like that. But this section right here is just not right. That is too like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I don't know. I just really don't like. I don't like mechanical animals that much, you know. Love Voltron, hated all the Power Rangers crap. Love Transformers, grew up on that. But I always hated like the animal Transformers, hated them. Except the Insecticons, they just lend themselves a little bit more to robots than like a dinosaur. I love the Dinobots. Just some animals, like the Jaguar. Here's some other stuff that I just kind of get into. This less Tron related, more just me playing around. Like I said, I was a big fan of like Fathom, and I don't know, the guy's name is Michael Turner and does. It's been so long since I looked at a lot of the comic book stuff, but a lot of this stuff is older. Like this picture might have a date on it. I'm not seeing the date. Like these are like back in like 2002, 2003 when I did these. It was kind of in the early 2000s. I was really into doing a lot of the like the female form stuff. A lot of the, you could see some like where it would be like Witchblade and kind of like inspired, I guess. I do have some other artwork in the back of this. Let me take it to the back here. You can see some of this other stuff. Set that stuff aside. These are the trikes I had in my other video. I'm just doing a little more of my robots. So there's the back of that guy's head there, like that guy there. He did have a neck and you can see in the background there the neck and the shoulders, but I cut it out because it looked like his jaw was part of his neck and people couldn't tell where the jaw began and the neck stopped. You know, you can see what I mean on like this. It just, when you look at a picture like this, it's just so flat looking across here that I'm not getting a whole lot of shadowing. Like, had I had drawn a little bit more with a light source, I could have probably got a nice shadow on the chin, but it wasn't kind of in that mind space to do that. Plus, I just kind of like all these little bits behind the eyes here, like that. And if I were gonna do a Terminator, I'd do something like that right there. Here's my older stuff. This is like right out of high school kind of stuff. And this might have been like 1994, 95 when I did this stuff. This is kind of like I believe it's like an Image comic book. There's the cover looks a little bit similar to this. It's where I got the inspiration for doing it. So I do my own little comic book, you know. The style is there, but I think that would have seemed like I was biting too much off of the other artists out there. I don't think I would have wowed anybody with it. My particular, I was not very refined in my artwork, so it's enough to impress a high school kid and middle school kid, but adults, I don't think I would have captured that audience at all. Maybe if I could make some of this stuff, if I got on board with like a movie and did some of this stuff life size, then people like, oh wow, that's kind of neat. I didn't do a whole lot of, like, as a kid, I did a lot of sculpting, but unfortunately, a lot of my artwork from when I was in high school and middle school and elementary school all got burned up in a fire. I moved and I could not bring everything with me, so I left some of that stuff with a friend, and about 80% of my artwork is probably close to it. We're talking like well over 1,000 drawings, because we're talking 12 years of artwork just burned up in her house when her house burned down, so she lost all of her stuff too. So both of us did not fare well out of that. So I've had a couple of times where over the years, just massive amounts of my artwork has just gone. Broke up with one girl and left some artwork at her house. A whole box of drawings, probably at least 300 drawings at her house. And it's been 10, 15 years since I've seen her. And she says, oh yeah, I still have the box, but it's still at her house and she doesn't want to give back. It's like another state all the way across the country. But she's like, I can't find it anymore. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? I still like her. She's a friend of mine. We're still friends on the internet and stuff like that. And I chat with her. It's like one of those people that if they ever passed away, it'd be like the only person you go across country to go to their funeral, that kind of thing. Yeah. I wanted to do more with this. This particular design here, I liked choppers that had a lot of chrome, a lot of cherry red kind of like looks to the chopper, because I like the contrast of the rich colors that they would put on like the gas tanks and stuff like that and the fenders. And I like that contrast to that chrome engine. And I thought to myself, it'd be really cool if the rider was a robot that looked similar to the bike. And so that's why I did this. This one here, this particular kind of robot-y looking design here, was supposed to get a chrome under chassis like a Terminator. But I never got around to doing that. And another little thing I was screwing around with here. This looks Warhammer-ish kind of looking, I don't know. I liked a lot of like anime stuff like that back then, the manga. But didn't do a whole lot of that artwork. But I love the robots from it. The whole series of like It's like fairies like this. I did a whole bunch of this stuff like this. It's more about like, you know, the way the female form kind of looks with wings. It just kind of looked neat. So I did a whole bunch of them. Here's one like that. Turn that around so you can see it like that. Like I liked Alita Battle Angel. And when that comic book came out, it's kind of when I kind of got into doing these themes, right? That's when I decided that I thought Alita would look better with fairy wings, but versus like, you know, like bird style wings. I did a little comic book that was The Wizard of Oz. I decided, you know, I'm gonna make The Wizard of Oz into a sci-fi movie, space-based sci-fi movie, and this is some of the character development I was doing for it. And I was like, oh, originally I'd just do something like this, you know. And this is like, and this is supposed to be more like late teens kind of thing. And I was like, you know, screw it and make a black girl, more like black Latino-ish. It just kind of pops a little more, looks a little more. You know, badassy kind of a thing, and just a little too sexy, you know. It's like, that's kind of really wrong direction. Neat though. I like the dog. The dog came up like Toto's now like a what is that, a Doberman pincer. Anyways, I said really like Witchblade type stuff. Did a whole bunch of that. It's also really into like I don't know what the video game was. There was some video game where they had these like robots that had these motorcycle wheels. If anybody in the comments section knows that video game, it's been a while since I've seen the artwork. I would like to see it again. If you know the name of the video game that had the robots with the big round wheels for their hands and feet, put the name down below. Just, you know, in the comment section there. That'd be awesome. These wings, it's kind of very busy. Kind of porcupine-ish looking. Yeah, just screwing around. Big boob chicks, you know. I was going for the racetrack girls who have like the I don't know. I always use them in like advertising and like racing magazines and stuff. So in the Wizard of Oz type movie, I did a whole bunch of these like robot spiders like this, and those were the bad guys. And I did some adult style pictures. That would be Porn Star by the name of Peaches. I did a handful of hers. She does not come out very well. Mostly, I did not like. I thought the eyes were kind of lopsided there. I think they could be a little more angled, slightly, but I don't think that would actually been realistic. I mean, I just think that's more the way she came out in real life, because this is done right off a picture out of a mag. Teenage guy into the porn. And this here, we get to guess who that is. So who is that? Most people, you see the bottom there, who see who it is. People are originally like, oh, that's Nicolas Cage. That's not Nicolas Cage. It was The Rock. Rock had done an advertisement for like one of those breast cancer awareness things, had one of those bracelets on it. And I was like, you know, that's a really good picture to do a portrait of. That was back in 2003. So that's what I get for doing life-size or life art. It's not very good at faces. And then I like the old Iron Man there. Just like robots and stuff like that. And this is me playing around with some Iron Man looks. Iron Man paint jobs would be the better way to put it, not necessarily looks. There's a little Hulk Buster, my version of like the Hulk Buster there. I like that idea. Boom. And this is some other stuff I was working on for Tron-ish stuff that is not coming out very well. Like, I like the idea of this. Remember the neon one I did? But it's, you know, it's not really coming out very well. Some of the stuff just needs to be done in CG to even begin to start thinking about it in a more productive way. You know, there's more of the Art Deco-ish looking ones there. This is work a chainsaw. And kind of rounded up the enclosed ones with cutouts. Just rounded that up. That's actually not too bad looking. Like, I think that would be. That's some good material, I guess, to work with. And then there's the laser beam things kind of going into the ball wheel. But that's about it for the Tron related bikes. Hope you guys like that. Sorry, the video kind of got still stretched out there. There's one more hiding in the back there. Kind of like the little glow of the wheel there. See, most of the stuff's meant to be like as it's moving, just we're still not getting there. Oh, fisheye lens. And anyways, so that's that. Those are all the Tron related bikes that I have sort of finished. It's my baby girl. She's Down syndrome. She used to do Special Olympics. She graduated high school. There's her mom, unfortunately, over there in Hawaii. I don't get to see her. But what are you gonna do? Relationships don't always work out. Decided to do a little Joker. Little Joker mobile there. Little Joker and Harley Quinn. With this, always liked those tall stacks. So 60s and 70s, you know. Little Joker head on the gas tank there. Solar Surfer. That's not a ripoff of anything. Back in 2004. Let's see if I got anything on the front. I think I got one more on the front. Yeah, I got Holly on the front. I think Holly's back from like 2003, 2004 too. So it's just me playing around with the car. I just kind of always like the metallic, metallic paints, you know. Anyways, that is it for the pictures in the binder. All the Tron stuff that I have. I have other stuff that's CG, but I don't really have it available to me. My computer has bit the dust. So it happens when you move multiple times, and like every 2 years I move, go someplace different. I think the longest I ever lived in a single house was 6 years. Just get a little too restless with all that. There's all notebooky stuff. Cheesy stuff. That's me. Vertical takeoff, little yacht looking thing there. I like catamarans and trimarans to the whole like that could be, you know, if some of the stuff was blown up to, you know, human scale and CG, it would look cool, but it's more my little robots. Sometimes I see little ideas, little bits of things when I'm drawing. It's always about the details. When I was a kid, someone told me that. Like, I wanted to draw robots and stuff so badly as a little kid, and just absolutely no one would, there's nothing to go on, just starving for inspiration as a little kid. Stuff on, oh yeah, I can see the cartoons on TV, but they're moved by so fast, you only see them once, and then, like, almost never again. You'll never see that idea again. I'm like, that was a really cool idea. And then one day I was watching, like, it was like Bob Rossi type stuff. When Bob Rossi, somebody else was doing, showing kids how to draw back then. And the guy did more like almost Dr. Seuss looking stuff. And he said, it's all about the tiny details. The little tiny details is what sells the picture, what sells it from one person's art to another person's art. So you pick something that you like, you know, whether it be a basic shape of something or a small detail, and then just start incorporating those little tiny details into your pictures, and then mix and match them and see how they go along. And then if they don't match well, go blend them together. You just see, maybe come up with something different. Once you got the hybrid of the two of them, then you got something original. Because you know that's kind of how art works. That's how design works. So I like these kind of like ball designs like this. Like a little ball doll right there, and just kind of hard shields, right, flat shields around it. I'm always telling people like I don't really like mixing and matching shapes, but once you figure out a design language where mixing and matching goes together, then you can come up with something neat. That's something that someone else hasn't seen yet. You know, because everybody else has that same idea in their head. Don't mix and match. Don't mix and match. No stripes with polka dots or. I always kind of like the Star Trek Next Generation stuff. A whole bunch of like Star Trek ships. There's a little castle thing I was drawing there. I like the courtyard idea. This is actually something that popped up in my dream forever, having way too many dreams that are way too vivid. Sometimes I can't tell if I'm awake or I'm asleep when it comes down to dreams. Anyways, that's just it's left over and it's just left over for that little notebook. But whenever I lost my artwork, you just imagine everything I just showed you here. You know, having good 300 pages, maybe 500 pages of artwork like this, just burned up, just gone. I had one guy. He was pissed at me. He was beating I had a roommate. He was beating his dog, and I smacked him because he needed a spank. But anyways, he ended up going into my room, and he cut up a year's worth of work. Just like 2 or 3 of these, just cut it all to shreds. All the artwork was gone. I guess the dog didn't get beat as much, but it's like a chunk of your brain missing once all that artwork's gone. So now I'm down to, in storage, maybe down to about 300 or 400 drawings left out of the thousands and thousands that I did. And when I was a little kid, I was the guy who said, you know what, give me for Christmas? Give me a pack of 500 sheets of photocopy paper and give me some markers and pens. I'm good to go. That's what I wanted for Christmas. None of that fancy artsy fucking like notepads and sketch pads and stuff like that. I did not want that. I wanted photocopy paper. Just reams of photocopy paper. And I would blow through it. 15, 20 drawings a day like this. Just cranking them out. I obsessed with it just way too much. Anyways, that's it for my drawings. That was a bit of a long video. I didn't realize I'd gone that long. Anyways, hope you guys like and subscribe.